What is up, Dream Team? This is day 365 of me doing 100 push-ups a day. What is up, Dream Team? This is day 365 of me doing 100 push-ups a day. What is up, Dream Team? So this is day 2 of me doing 100 push-ups a day. Alright, so let's get to it.
Unspoken question in every person's mind that has to first be answered. Why should I listen to you? And I think it influences how people share, how people take your content, everything. It's the frame that the content is consumed in. You have to do things so that you have evidence that you can support why you are good. And so I think it's really speaking on your truths rather than claiming to know the truth. Hey, here's what I did versus here's what you should do. Feel the difference? I broke it into 3 sections to make more sense. So section 1 is, why did I do this to begin with? 2, what and how much? Like, what do we do to actually create that? And then 3rd is observations. So quick backstory, I'm gonna go through this as fast as possible. This is me when I started my business career, sleeping on the floor. I signed my first lease, slept on that floor for the first 9 months, was able to get it to that picture on the left in a year. Then I opened a new location every 6 months after that. And then over the next 18 months, I met Layla and we did gym turnarounds. So we basically fly from place to place to place and fill gyms up. But it was a hands-on sales model. I had at our peak 8 sales guys turning around 8 gyms every month. That became tenuous logistically. And we're like, I wonder if there's a better way. And so from there, we packaged our IP for a better gym model into a licensing business. And so we were able to grow Gym Launch, which was a B2B business, to $2.5 million a month. Prestige to 1.7 a month, which is B2B2C. That was an affiliate-based business, and it was weight loss and supplements. So e-commerce. Then we scaled Ellen to 1.6 million a month, which was B2B2C, and we just recently sold that for 46.2, and we just sold that one last year as well, which I'm not allowed to say the number, but there you go. Then we started acquisition.com, which right now does about 13 million a month. So right now we grow $3 million plus internet businesses into $30 million plus sellable businesses. That's kind of what we do now. And so hopefully you're probably asking this question, which is like, what does this have to do with growing video or growing with video? Check. But I started making video content with 3 goals. So number 1 was to attract internet business owners doing $3 million or more who align with our values. Number 2 is to help all businesses below our minimum deal size to just grow to the deal size. That was kind of the idea. Like, how do I just get everybody who's at $1 million to $3 million or 100K to $3 million, whatever, just get everybody up above that level so we can hopefully work with them. And then 3, to create a place where I could document and share the best practices of building world-class companies from my experience. And like, we're not the Elon Musks and the Bezoses and all that, but I wish that those guys had documented what they had done. Like, how cool would it have been to see like the vlog of Amazon in 1996, right? How sick would that have been? And like, every day is like, yep, almost lost the company today. Like, 6 months later, almost lost the company again. I thought that would have been awesome. So I thought, I did a really poor job of documenting everything up to this point. And so I was really committed to like, all right, for this next phase, I really want to do a better job of it. So that's the idea. Lo and behold, businesses doing $3 million or more started reaching out to us, which was awesome, right? Success. So I guess this might have something to do with video. But believe me when I say that no one is surprised as me about this kind of organic stuff in general, because I've never done it before. So we're on this ride together. All right, so here's the goal for the presentation. Give you a few lessons that I've learned to take you from wherever you are to a little closer to wherever you want to go with this presentation. I'm so good at content. There's the little man. Okay, great. So disclaimer, again, never done this. I also didn't want to be famous or known for a very long time. There's me saying I want to be rich, not famous. But several experiences changed my mind, so I'll walk you through this real quickly. So when Kylie, do you remember this when Kylie was announced that she was a billionaire? Well, that's what I felt like that day. I was like, what am I doing wrong? And then The Rock, killing it, and then boom, he's got a $2 billion plus tequila brand that he was able to launch off his organic audience. Conor McGregor, $600 million with Proper 12, has probably grown since now. Huda, now is a $1 billion brand. And so I can be a little slow sometimes, but I can kind of read the writing on the wall. So there's the writing on the wall. Um, but I didn't want to build an e-commerce brand because all those were e-commerce physical products brands, and I was like, it's not my vibe. I already did that once. It's not my favorite of the businesses that we've done. So I still kind of like dragged my feet a little bit. And that's when I heard this guy, nomad capitalist, who like teaches people to not be U.S. citizens. That's not the point, but so you can not pay taxes. But anyways, that's when I heard a podcast by this guy, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I get about 3,000 applications a month." I was like, "Holy cannoli!" I was like, "Well, if I had 3,000 applications a month, I would make at least $1 if that were my life." And so I realized it could work for B2B, not just e-commerce stuff. I was like, "That's neat." And then I heard Neil Patel was doing $100 million a year doing B2B agency services, all off inbound. I was like, okay, this might make sense. And so again, I still was like, all right, so it does work for B2B, organic stuff works, but I still didn't really want to be famous. That was not my vibe. And so I met up with dear friends of ours, Lisa and Dean Graciosi, and we had a conversation that was kind of the last straw here. So I was like, dude, being famous sounds terrible. He was just telling us about how like somebody like showed up his house and threatened his kids, and I was like, that sounds awful. Like, why? No, thank you. I'm good. I will just pass on grass. And so he's like, if getting harassed and attacked is the price I have to pay for it's supposed to say impact. That was perfect. For the impact that I want to have, then I'd pay that price every time, which totally takes away from the impact of that message. But I was like, he's right. You know what I mean? Like he said, if that's the price I have to pay to make the impact I want to have, and I pay that price every time. I was like, all right, I need to stop being all right. So 18 months ago, I started a YouTube channel. Some of you guys may have anybody seen this, the YouTube channel? Nosy Nation. Woo. And so I built 2 expensive studios to launch this thing. I started making 3 videos a week. Side note, important lesson that I learned on a vacation, that really one did better than my really fancy one, which then taught me that what's inside the content matters more than the wrapper. So for anybody who's like worried about getting started, about making it look right, I don't think it matters. I mean, I think it matters a little bit, but it's 80-20, so focus on the 80. All right, and so I continue
I'm
my
at
very
60
steady
now.
growth.
60, baby, let's go.
That period of time, which is great. Recommend. But, the first 12 months we went from 600 to 70,000 subscribers, which was cool. And so things were going smoothly until one day I had a chat with Grant Cardone about branding. And it reminded me that all the lessons that I learned in business applied to all this organic stuff. And so I was on this call with him, and I have the full video on my YouTube channel if you want to check it out. Yeah. He was like, bro, I'm not even going to try. He was like, bro, pull up your Instagram. I was like, okay. He's like, pull up my Instagram. He's like, I got 10 times the content as you. 10 times. He's like, bro, it's volume, bro. Volume. And I was like, that's deep. And so I was like, I should probably do more, which is a lesson that I have learned over and over and over again in business, and I'll tell you a couple more stories about later. But like, so many times we're doing the right stuff, we're just doing way too little of it. Like, I'll tell you a quick story, which is not on this presentation, but when I started my first gym, I was told that I should put flyers out. And so I went, I'm like really, full of piss and vinegar. I was like, I'm gonna go do it. So the business owner told me was more successful than me, etc. And so I went, I put the flyers out, and then like nothing really happened. So I met back up with him a few weeks later, and he was like, hey, how'd the flyers work? And I was like, I got one guy who called me and said I picked up his car. That was it. He's like, well, what was your test size? And I was like, I was like, well, I mean, I put 300 out. And he's like, dude, our test size is 5,000. He's like, that's what we test with. He's like, and then we do 5,000 a day. I was like, oh. Noted. And so it was just a really good lesson, and that happens with phone calls. Like, yeah, I'm gonna start doing cold calls. You make 10 calls every 3 days when you're feeling motivated, rather than doing 200 dials every day, like it's clockwork before lunch. You know what I mean? The level of effort difference is not like 2x or 4x. It's like 50x. It's a lot bigger, and most people dramatically underestimate the amount of volume and effort that is required to get to where you want to go. like dramatically. And so I have so many lessons that this repeated, and I was taught yet again in a different sphere that I'm not familiar with that this was true. I'm also wearing the same shirt. So I decided to take his advice and dramatically increase the amount of content that we created and how many places we displayed it, right? And so before I tell you, who wants to guess how many pieces of content we started putting out weekly after that call? 25? 10,000? Less than that. I would be so much more famous if I put 10,000 out. What was that, 100? Good guess. So we went from 7 pieces of content a week. I did 3 on YouTube, and then I just repurposed the same 3 on a podcast, to 80 content pieces a week. And for scale, if you remember the first line that I showed you way before, the top of that is that purple line from the first graph I showed you. And so, pretty cool. And so this is what happened in those 6 months. We added 300,000 subscribers on YouTube, 7,000 followers on Instagram. Still haven't really cracked that one. 350,000 on TikTok, 150,000 buyers, which is cool, on Amazon for the book. 350,000 followers on Instagram, 100,000 on Twitter, and 400,000 downloads a month on the podcast. Cool, right? So basically a million person audience within that 6 months. And because I'm more of a business guy than I am a quote influencer creator, this was what I cared about. So the net traffic result for us was web traffic went from basically non-existent to about 100,000 unique clicks a month to the site, just organically. Pretty cool. Number 2 is the subscribers, which I told you before. And then this is one that's really cool for who here runs paid ads? And I gotta, okay, some of you, cool. So this will resonate with you. So in the businesses that I had, at a $25 CPM, we were getting $2 million a month in exposure for free. Not only not free, we're getting paid to do it. Crazy. Like I'm beside myself still because I think it's.
So that is 100 push-ups. Day 2. 100 push-ups.